Manchester United interested in swap deal involving Frankie De Jong for Jadon Sancho. Scott McTominay tells Napoli that he wants to leave Manchester United and join them this summer. And Hannibal Mejbri and Lindelof transfer frustration. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this evening's show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. We're very, very close to hitting 40,000 subscribers. So if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe. It's completely free content and everyone is welcome. Right, let's start the show off by talking a little bit about Hannibal and Victor Lindelof. So these stories are both coming out from the Manchester Evening News this evening. And apparently Manchester United find themselves in a dilemma, both with Hannibal Mejbri and Victor Lindelof. Let's start with Victor Lindelof. So, obviously, we know that Fiorentina and Eintracht Frankfurt are apparently in talks with Manchester United over a permanent deal for Victor Lindelof. There is one slight issue, though. Apparently, Lindelof is on crutches. There's pictures of him circulating on social media with what looks like crutches and some sort of injury. Now, I don't know what's wrong with him. We're still waiting to find out. It would be so frustrating if we're unable to move on Lindelof, to be honest. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He's on £120,000 a week. He's a player that we should be able to raise about £10 million for in sales. And if we're unable to sell him now, he will leave for free in 12 months. So hopefully, I pray that Victor Lindelof suddenly finds himself back fit again within the next couple of weeks. But when you see a player walking around on crutches and a player not involved in the matchday squad, that is alarm bells ringing in my head. So hopefully Victor Lindelof gets better soon, because we need to get some money for him this summer. We need to get him off the wage bill. And I think, if he can go to Frankfurt or to Fiorentina, that's the best case scenario for everybody. But moving on from that, I want to talk a little bit about Hannibal Mejbri. And we find ourselves with more similar frustration. But with Hannibal Mejbri, the issue isn't fitness. The issue is that none of the clubs interested in him are reportedly willing to pay the fee that Manchester United are asking for. So at the moment, the two main clubs who want to sign Hannibal are Rangers and Celtic. Apparently, Manchester United are asking for around £10 million for Hannibal Mejbri, which I think is fair. Again, 1 year left on his contract. He would probably do really well at Rangers or Celtic. I don't think he's at the level of Manchester United. But the problem is that both of these teams have apparently told Manchester United that they can't afford £10 million. And we can't loan him out because he's only got 1 year left on his contract. So loaning him out would be effectively just giving him away for free, because a loan just simply isn't possible, really, unless you gave him a new deal. But I don't think we need to be giving Hannibal Mejbri a new contract. Like, he definitely doesn't have a future at the club. With 1 year left on his deal, we need to secure a permanent contract for him for away from the club. But hopefully someone else comes in for Hannibal, because, £10 million to me sounds very, very fair. But obviously, yeah, I'll keep you updated on that as and when we get more news. Moving on from that one, I want to jump on over to Scott McTominay. So this is coming up from multiple different Tier 1 Italian journalists and newspapers this afternoon. It's been reported by the Manchester Evening News as well, and that apparently Scott McTominay has now spoken with Napoli boss Antonio Conte and told him that he wants to leave Manchester United this summer and join Napoli. It goes on to say that the Serie A club want to sign McTominay, but are waiting for Osimhen to leave before they can make an official bid. So we spoke about this on the show earlier on today, about a domino effect. The first piece of the domino that needs to fall is Victor Osimhen needs to leave Napoli. Chelsea are obviously in talks with Napoli over a permanent deal there, around £100 million. Once that gets done, Napoli will then submit an official bid to Manchester United for Scott McTominay, believed to be somewhere around 30 million euros. I personally think that this deal will end up happening, and I personally think that once this does happen, it will allow us to then sign Manuel Ugarte. And I know it's frustrating, but it's just how it works sometimes in football. Clubs need to raise funds in order to bring in new players. So I do get it. It does make sense. And yeah, I wouldn't be letting McTominay go for less than 30 million euros. I think he's definitely worth that, especially in the current market when, Conor Gallagher's supposedly worth 45 million euros. Emile Smith-Rowe's worth 45 million euros. Like, if those players are worth 45 million euros, then we should be easily getting 30 million for McTominay, because he would go to Napoli. He'd probably do really well. And I think he'd be, a really, really good addition to their squad. So let's wait and see how that one progresses. But obviously, as it stands at the moment, Victor Osimhen needs to leave Napoli in order for this deal to go through. And just to be very, very clear as well, there isn't any potential of Victor Osimhen joining Manchester United. So I know there's a lot of people who watch this channel who really, really want to see Osimhen in a United shirt. I think the likelihood of that is very, very small. Like the likelihood of a swap deal is pretty much next to nothing. So the way that it has to happen is Osimhen has to leave Napoli. Napoli have to get a good transfer fee for him, and then they would then come and buy Scott McTominay. So there are quite a lot of ifs and buts with that deal, but the thing we have to remember is, right, Fulham are interested in McTominay, Everton are interested in McTominay, Brentford are interested in McTominay. There is genuine interest from other clubs in the Premier League for Scott McTominay. Everton have obviously just lost 3-0 today in the Premier League, so maybe that will trigger them to go and do some business. Who knows? I'll obviously keep you updated on the channel as and when we get more news on that. But moving on to the next story, I've got some big news for you on Frankie De Jong, and I know people are sick to death of hearing this guy's name, but it is a news show. I'm bringing you the news, we discuss it, and then we can all kind of give our opinions. So this is coming out from Manchester Evening News and various different Spanish outlets this evening, and the headline is this. The headline is that apparently Manchester United have contacted Barcelona over a proposed swap deal involving Jadon Sancho in exchange for Frankie De Jong. And it says that the deal is thought to be of interest to Barcelona, with the La Liga giants believing the Englishman, Jadon Sancho, could drastically improve their forward line. I think Sancho would do really well at Barcelona, to be fair. I think he could go there. You know, he'd be the big star player. He'd earn massive wages. Like, it would probably be his, absolute dream to go there, and I think he would succeed there. Would I do a swap deal, Frankie De Jong for Jadon Sancho? That's a hard one. I'm going to ask you that, actually. Would you do that swap deal? If this was a genuine possibility, would you swap Sancho for Frankie De Jong? Let me know in the comment section. If Frankie De Jong was going to be on reasonable wages, I'm talking 250k a week tops, I probably would do that deal. If it was a straight swap, Sancho in exchange for Frankie De Jong, and we paid Frankie De Jong the wages that Jadon Sancho was being paid, which is 250k a week, I would personally do that swap deal, because even though Jadon Sancho's younger, even though maybe Jadon Sancho's worth slightly more, possibly, I think that with the amount of options we have in our wing positions, like, we just don't need Sancho. And I think that a lot of the people in the fan base, me included, after everything that's happened between Erik ten Hag and Jadon Sancho, I just feel like he's a bit of an unnecessary distraction, to be honest. And I think that moving him on would be the best case scenario. And we know, obviously, that Erik ten Hag is desperate to sign Frankie De Jong. Does that mean we don't get Manuel Ugarte? Possibly. The one big thing here is I just don't see why De Jong would come to Manchester United unless, he was going to earn massive wages. He's got 2 years left on his contract at Barcelona. He's on 700,000 euros a week at Barcelona. Why would he come to Manchester United and only earn 250,000? Like, that's the bit that doesn't add up to me. So, yeah, I mean, unless Man United gave him a massive signing on bonus, maybe, like, there are interesting and clever ways that you can do these deals to make it more appealing for, the players. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens here. But there are multiple different people reporting that apparently Manchester United are going to make a big push in the final weeks of the window to try and sign Frankie De Jong. For me personally, I actually just think this is another way of trying to bring down the Manuel Ugarte price. We clearly want Manuel Ugarte. And I think that this is just an attempt by Manchester United to try and put pressure on PSG, so they think that, we're going to go for Frankie De Jong, or we're going to go for Sander Berg, or we're going to go for somebody else, in the hope then that PSG say, you know what, we'll reduce the price, let's get a deal done. That's how it feels like to me. But I'd be interested to see what you guys think. Like, is there a genuine world where Frankie De Jong comes to Manchester United, or do you think it is just an attempt to try and bring down the Manuel Ugarte asking price? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I will be back live at 8:30 tomorrow morning for the longer live show. The shows are a little bit all over the place on the weekends because obviously, I go out and do things. But thank you very much for watching. This has been Daily Red Devil. Make sure to smash a like, leave a comment and subscribe before you leave. I'll be back at 8:30 tomorrow. Have a lovely evening and I'll speak to you all then. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.